Hello, welcome to this video demonstration of ProteanPaper software. My name is Glenn Clark, the author of ProteanPaper. This video demonstrates the process of setting up the initial presence on a ProteanPaper server. This is the first step for everyone regardless of what functional modules you will use later. We refer to your account as a company, as most of the ProteanPaper users are in fact companies. But you could be an individual or any other entity that has need of the ProteanPaper functions. The screen resolution and audio quality of this recording have been set lower so that you can read what's on the screen and so that the video loads quickly and plays well. Now let's begin the actual process. You can probably assume that you're already on your computer and are at a web page for a ProteanPaper provider. If not, you can pull up the home page at www.proteanpaper.com. Somewhere you will see a button or a link that says, click here to start evaluating ProteanPaper risk-free. The buttons may vary. In fact, I suspect by the time you're viewing this page may have changed. Nonetheless, there will be a button that says something to this effect. Click to explore ProteanPaper now. Initial sign-up is free, which is true. Then evaluate business packages using our 30-day no-risk trial. When you click that button, you'll be taken to a page that looks like this. Now then, there is one other way in which you might start a ProteanPaper company, and that is if you purchased a software activation code, say on eBay or from some other source. If that's the case, you'll want to go to a page that looks like this. It's very much like the last one, it's just that it has a software activation code field. And everything will be the same until you get to the point where you select what functional modules you want to use. The software activation code automatically selects that for you, and you'll have already paid, so that will be taken care of for you. Okay, let's go back to the case in which you don't have a software activation code. The company code is the first item you need to enter. This is a code that you will make up to refer to your company. This code can be any combination of letters and numbers, but it must be unique to the server that you're on. This code is also used as a third-level domain when people want to view your website. This is an example of a third-level domain. The second-level domain is ProteanPaper.com, and the fly fishing in front of it makes it a third level. So if your company code was fly fishing, you would end up with a domain that says flyfishing.proteanpaper.com. Now there are other ways of accessing the consumer side of your site, so we don't have to get overly concerned with this, but whatever company code you choose should probably have some sort of branding value. In my case, I'm going to say Video 1. The next field is the name of your company. Highlight that so we can type over it. This is what you want your company to be referred to as. You can change this later if you need. For our purposes, let's say Video Demo Company. The next field is the email address for the primary contact at your company. Now this is probably going to be your email because you're setting up the company, so you probably are the primary contact. But regardless of whether it's you or not, it's very important that this email address be correct, and of course that it work, that you be able to read the email messages it receives. This is important if for no other reason than the first email that you will receive will contain a password for the super user, and without that password you won't get very far. I'm going to type in ProteanPaper Dave at gmail.com. I'm using Gmail just because it'll be easy to demonstrate what's received. Okay, the next field is called the Super User ID. And once again, this is a code you're going to make up. It's going to be a code to identify an employee of the company, and this employee is going to have the highest authority to maintain and modify things for your company. Hence the name Super User. I'm going to use Dave as that code, and then we want the actual name of that user. I'm going to call him Dave Super User. Alright, that's pretty much it. We enter that information, and then we click Create Database for Company. At that point in time, the server has made all the database entries it needs to have the basic company structure. It tells you that it created the user, tells you that you need to go and check your email to get a password, and it tells you click on this to log in for the first time. It also tells you a little bit about some helpful guides that you can look at if you want to. We will just click here to try to log into the company. Okay, to log in, we already know a few of these items. We know that the company code is video 1. Oops. We know that the super user's ID is Dave, but we need to get the password. So we'll go over here to the Gmail account for ProteanPaper Dave, and here is an email that's just arrived. We'll click on that. Okay, we have some fairly standard disclaimer information saying that the internet isn't necessarily the safest place, and that you need to take particular care to keep your information secure. Beyond that, we have information about our company. Here's our company code. Here's our company name. Our super user name is Dave Superuser. There's the super user ID. And here is our password. Now, this section of characters and numbers is actually not very human readable. So what I do is I highlight them by holding down my mouse button and dragging over that set of characters. Then I use the keyboard and hold down the control key and hit C. That copies those characters into my browser's clipboard so that I can move it to other places. Now I go back to ProteanPaper. Now I will paste what was in the clipboard by holding down the control key and pressing V. Now that somewhat hard to read password is there, and we can click Login. We get this screen which redirects us to our menu for our company. Now this is the first time we're here. Here is the complete menu to the degree that the company's been set up. We have two checklists. One is for a new employee, that's Super User Dave, and one for a new company, which is obviously Video 1. And then we also have the actual company administration menu. Now we have no other useful modules installed at this point in time. We have no general ledger, we have no shopping cart, we have no accounts receivable or anything else. We only have this, but nonetheless your basic company structure has been set up. And we'll talk about how to go through these items in our next video.